Kyoto is one of the most popular tourism destinations in all of Japan. Not only you can see it in the amazing number of visitors in its major spots, but also Kyoto does possess something special which keeps tourists and repeat visitors wanting for more. On this trip, I spent 3 nights in Kyoto after spending days hiking the Kumano-Kodo in Wakayama and making an overnight stop in Mount Koya or Koyasan. These are very beautiful areas that I highly recommend, especially if you're into the outdoors and if you're interested in Japan's sacred spots and experience. You can check out these videos on the channel. Now, let's go to Kyoto. I arrived Kyoto via the Nankai-Koya line, passing through Osaka from Koyasan. If you are coming from the Kansai airport, the JR Haruka train can take you directly to Kyoto. If you are coming from Osaka, there are many ways to get to Kyoto, with train rides varying from 30 minutes to more than an hour. In my case, since I have the JR Kansai White Pass, I took the Limited Express Thunderbird from Shin Osaka Station, and I arrived in Kyoto in around 30 minutes. The Kyoto station is a destination in itself, and I will be making a tour of the station on the second day. So, please keep watching. So after checking in my hotel located in the Shijo area, I took the bus to Yasaka Shrine. This afternoon, I have clustered my visits around the eastern section of the city center. Yasaka Shrine, Kiyomizudera, Gion, and the roads and alleys in between. I decided to just make a quick walk around Yasaka because I wanted to spend the late afternoon in Kiyomizudera. It takes at least 20 minutes to get there on foot. Between the Yasaka Shrine and the Kiyomizudera are the narrow streets and alleys lined with shops housed in traditional Japanese architecture. Kiyomizudera is notable for what is known as the stage, which is the huge balcony supported by those long wooden stilts. There are many areas to see in Kiyomizudera and this side of the Higashiyama district. From Kiyomizudera, it's another walk to Gion, where I am hoping to have a glimpse of a Maiko or a Geiko. Apparently, local businesses in Gion are not too happy with many tourists making disruptions like blocking the roads. This is the situation in Hanamikoji Street, where geishas are known to arrive for their appointments. So I recommend that instead of spending too much time taking photos and videos, just enjoy the sights and sounds. Not too far from Gion is the Kawaramachi area, where I decided to have dinner. Kiyamachi-dori is a very busy food and entertainment hub, and the canal is very charming. The number of food choices here are overwhelming. After dinner, walking around is always a good idea because there are other places to see. And that pretty much concludes day 1 in Kyoto. It was raining on my second day in Kyoto and I didn't really have a solid plan for the day. But when it rains in Kyoto, everyone will likely have the same idea. I'd say it was regrettable to have missed all that street food, but I wasn't hungry and it was just too crowded. Good thing I got to taste something I have been curious about. From Nishiki Market, I decided to walk to Shinpukan. There are nice cafes, restaurants, shops, and a hotel in this complex. Time to move on. From the center of Kyoto, I somehow found myself in Uji City. Uji City is another historic area that many unfortunately miss. Just between Kyoto and Nara, Uji is a low-key cultural and culinary destination. If you have read The Tale of Genji, there are scenes in the novel that take place in Uji. But for green tea lovers, Uji is a haven. From the JR Uji station, you can walk to the Byodo-in Temple, which is really worth a visit. There is a separate ticket to have a look at the interiors of the Phoenix Hall. Cameras are not allowed, but if you like history and Buddhist symbolism and architecture, it is a good addition to the visit. Uji doesn't get a lot of hype when it comes to, well, destinations or at least attractions here in Kyoto. But I'm quite surprised that this is a very charming city. It's it's like the home of the Uji green tea. It's lots of tea houses here, matcha houses perhaps. The Byodo-in temple grounds, also very interesting. But what I like about Uji is how very walkable it is. It's just a place where you want to hang out, perhaps just spend a few hours wandering about and just see things. You have a nice river, you have all these greeneries, and of course you'll never run out of matcha or green tea options. And surprisingly, I like Uji a lot, even though I'm here while it's raining / not raining, but it's quite a gloomy day. But the experience isn't really. I'm looking forward to finally sitting down somewhere and have some local green tea. This is the Tuen Tea House, which is said to be the oldest tea house in the world. It was founded in the 12th century by a retired samurai vassal who became a monk, who then established residence at one end of the Uji Bridge. His family became guardians of the Uji Bridge and served tea to passing travelers. Now, this destination doesn't need any introduction. Thousands of red torii gates continue further as they follow the slopes of Mount Inari. The farther you go, the lesser the crowds. Fushimi Inari is open 24 hours. Since this is a mountain, there are warnings that animals like wild pigs are just around. I didn't get to summit Mount Inari this time because it's getting dark, but there are some people who continued the hike. From the Fushimi Inari shrine, it is now a quick ride to Kyoto Station. Kyoto Station is indeed a sight at night. There are a variety of restaurants in the upper levels. There is also a rooftop garden and a skyway. You also get to have a view of the Kyoto Tower, which is just across the street. This might be a rainy day, but it's surprising that it turned out very well. It's a beautiful day, but it's an early day because we're going to one of the most crowded tourist destinations in Kyoto. This is my second time in Kyoto, but this is my first time visiting Arashiyama. The bamboo forest is indeed a major spot, but if you want to have the place without the crowds, I suggest being there not later than 7 in the morning. Inside the bamboo forest is another train station that caters to the Sagano romantic train. This is another famous activity here in Arashiyama. But the trains do not start until 9 in the morning. From the bamboo forest, you can walk to the Saga Torimoto Preserve Street, where you will find amazingly preserved wooden houses. Since these are private homes, many houses have put up signs not allowing cameras to take photos of their residences, which is understandable. At the end of the preserved street is probably my favorite place in Arashiyama. This temple memorializes the souls of the abandoned bodies of the dead on this very hill during the Heian period. Today, it maintains that tradition by also honoring the souls of those who do not have relatives to visit them during the Obon period in August. If you have seen the animated film Coco, you know how important it is to be memorialized by family and people who knew you. For souls who do not have that, this is the place to be remembered. If you haven't reserved online your tickets for the Sagano romantic train, you can purchase tickets at the Saga Toroko station. That is, if there are still tickets left. In my case, I could only purchase tickets to train schedules where there were open slots. This sightseeing train takes 25 minutes to arrive at the last station, the Toroko Kamioka station, and then it goes back to Arashiyama. Passengers can opt to disembark on Arashiyama Station in the bamboo forest or back in the Saga Toroko Station. Naturally, there are other areas to check out in Arashiyama, like the Tenryuji Temple and of course the Togetsukyo Bridge on the Katsura River. I found Arashiyama beautiful, but to really explore most of the destinations there, you will need at least a day. I decided to just move on because there is another spot in Kyoto that I wanted to check out, and it usually takes around an hour and a bus change to get there from Arashiyama. The Philosopher's Path is located on the eastern side of Kyoto city center. It is a popular spot for cherry blossoms. Most of the cherry blossoms have gone during this trip to Kyoto, but there are a couple of trees that were still nicely blooming. There are temples and shrines along the path, but they were already closing when I got there. But the walk itself was peaceful, and it's nice to be in a place like this, just minutes away from the heart of the city. This was my last full day in Kyoto, and the next day I would be making my way to the Kansai airport. To truly enjoy Kyoto, I think it will require a lot of walking, a lot of patience for the crowds, and a lot of planning so you can prioritize which areas you want to check out without the pressure of time and resources. And also, if there are areas and places that request that cameras and certain behaviors are not allowed, just please comply. Japan is truly an amazing place, and if the Romans had their way, also please do as the Japanese do. Truly, you will have a more meaningful experience. And of course, some transportation tips. You can check out transportation passes that gives you access to Kyoto buses and also some subway lines. Thank you for watching until the end. And here is some photos. My morning trip to the Okazaki Jinja, also known as the shrine dedicated to rabbits. And as always, we would appreciate your subscription to this channel. Please check out our other videos featuring our recent adventures in Japan. Also, Please feel free to share this video and hit the like and notification buttons.